Kiernan and Acronik, chat. We go once again. Another EU match. For some reason, the EU guys are up late and trying to play some 1v1. If you didn't know, we were actually going to talk about Johnny Boy's stream a little bit today, but we got into our matches really quick. I'll talk about it very briefly in this video. I'm sure by the time this video comes out, everything else has been uploaded on Johnny's side. Hopefully. Screw it. I'm not going to spoil it. But there was a EU versus NA Young Guns event, and then there also was an Acronik versus Joria's 1v1 after that. So that's the first 1v1 I've seen Acronik play in a show match. I'm not sure if he's played in other events or not. But he's going up against Kiernan, a guy who has played not only in some of the Feer events, the qualifiers, I'm pretty sure, but has been in the show match scene for a while, a high-rated 1v1 player. And Acronik had some great offense in today's match against Joria's. In fact, I had him on the big screen today. I went out to the main living room, Chromecasting the Johnny stream on the big TV. It was quite the spectacle. Now we get to watch Acronik from the desk as well, and this time I have to talk about it instead of just watch in awe. But we'll see how this goes. I actually don't think that we've had Kiernan play on just a generic show match. He's played in, you know, like I said before, a couple different events, but not just a, you know, regular day of the week show match, which makes sense why he wasn't on my friends list. So technically a double debut and a double flip reset, right as I talk about the double debut from Acronik. Also hooking up the Raiders, the 15 million Raiders from Paputza, with quite the highlight right as they pull in. Acronik gonna give you guys some content. Doing it for the Raiders indeed. Thanks for showing up, guys. Hopefully you guys had a good stream. We're doing some 1v1 show matches here, and right now Acronik putting in the heat on Kiernan, up 3-0. We just saw a dominant kickoff performance from Toxic against CRR, and we'll see if we're about to see another one of those, as Acronik does seem to have the edge at the beginning of this match at least, but Kiernan is still in the back corner boost. Acronik has nothing, and great placement. So hard to make a play straight up in the air as a defender, especially with low boost, although I'm not sure it would even mattered how much boost he had with the kind of placement. The first goal for Kiernan, and he's on the board. Took him about a minute 30. You love me. Basket of Snake's first chat ever on stream was that he loves me. That's crazy. Can't believe I already got you in love that fast. Kiernan, a dribble on top of his car. Acronik was just going to camp out on the goal line. And Kiernan says, I'm not going to overdo it if you're going to let me walk it all the way in. Tries to get the low 50 and doesn't succeed the first time around, but you know, uses the same mentality here again. Just sitting in the corner and says, I'm not going to outplay myself. I'm going to wait for you to outplay yourself. And Acronik trying to 50 into that, goes flying by. Acronik, you could argue losing this kickoff, but takes control of a dribble in the back corner. And Kiernan. I'm going to call him Rob sometimes. His Twitch name is Rob Kiernan, and he used to play under the name Rob, or at least the full name Rob Kiernan more often. So if you hear me mess up and I say Rob, I am talking about Kiernan.
Prize pool for my boy Rob, Kiernan.
Yeah, see, Eros points it out with his donation. Dude, thank you. Eros with a $20 prize pool donation. I'll make sure to let these guys know they're playing for 20 bucks on the next stoppage, or probably in between the games. But at this point, I've completely forgotten what I was talking about before I was talking about Kiernan's previous goal, I think. A nice air dribble bump. We actually haven't seen too much air dribble bumping, I would say, in our 1v1s as of late. There was certainly a time in which it was a little bit more prominent, but players have gotten very good at defending them and good at, you know, preventing them from happening in the first place. That was great execution from Kiernan, and a redirection of the kickoff goal is not all that Acronik was going to need. He's going to have to try and find a way to stop it from immediately going back in. I think there's a chance that if Acronik had given up hope on the corner boost, he might have been able to stay around the play and affected the second touch. But since he didn't do so, Kiernan bringing it all the way back. Acronik was off to a hot start in this match, but Kiernan has come all the way back and taken the lead on a really nice shot here. Just great placement on the first touch, putting it right inside the corner of the net. Means it's going to be an awkward save for Acronik. He can't boom it out of, you know, a scoring position like he wants to. And then Kiernan just follows it right back up with a nice double. And it wasn't even a bad recovery from Acronik. He actually got decently close to making the save. But just better execution by Kiernan. Acronik, wall to air dribble. He has looked nasty in the aerial game in a way that, you know, he plays it like the NA guys, I would say. And the fact that he does seem to like to go back to these so frequently. I just don't see this kind of offensive mentality too much. I don't know. I guess Ashley does similar type of play. But for some reason, when Ashley does his plays, it doesn't remind me of like Evo and some of the other NA guys. But I'm sure the last thing that EU wants to hear is that they do anything like NA. NA just taking L's left and right, you know, for quite a long time. Ever since Season 8. Acronik in a camp at midfield. Wait for that Hunter Bruce to respawn. Kiernan's got full field to work with. And last time he was in a situation, he took this low 50. He's going to do it again. And Acronik goes flying past the ball. Kiernan will play it very, very safe. And I think, you know, unless Acronik starts throwing in some early challenges, you're never going to see Kiernan give up the ball. He's very, very willing to just roll it in nice and slow against a shadowing defender. Which, not the end of the world for Acronik. Just going to have to likely throw in the occasional turn and challenge just to make sure that Kiernan is guessing and not able to just consistently roll with no pressure at all. What a pinch! Oh my goodness! This was directly at Kiernan too, but he couldn't get the save. 108 km/h pinch. Oof, the backflip. Kiernan left such a tiny window open and he wasn't able to cover it. Wow. Anything even remotely slower and Kiernan's backflip is going to connect. And Acronik, the kickoff, tie game, 6-6. There has been an ebb and flow to the momentum in this game. Acronik certainly starting it off in his favor. Since then, it had been all Rob. But now with the game tied, Acronik seeming to have the edge. That being said, Rob with his first possession on this tie game did not do a great job of utilizing what he had. Acronik will scoop a musty. He gets tapped high. And Acronik attempting to keep possession on this play. Might have just lost the game for him. He did not want to give up. Oh my goodness, no way! Why did Kiernan not flip this in? This had no business being saved, right? If he just... Oh, he couldn't because he touched it before he landed. Oh my gosh, I can't believe that he almost jumped so fast off the wall and got that touch. My goodness, that was so close. That would have been truly devastating for Kiernan. Oh, he tried to let it hit the ground. He tried to let it hit the ground. All right, he will hit it to the ground. Kiernan with the game 1 win. The nice camera look right at the end over to Acronik behind him in the net. Wow, a close one, but it does go in favor of Kiernan. Game number 2. Kiernan, the much more of a 1v1 veteran, having the slight edge in game number 1. Acronik trying to get a little cheeky and just carry the ball with 0 boost for a flick, while Kiernan was diving to steal away the 100. But Kiernan does make it back just barely in time, but a nice demo dodge and a first goal for Acronik again. He led early in game number 1, and he'll start off game number 2 in the lead. Are you talking about Acronik? Is that what it evolved? and Cash are talking, or are you guys talking about Kiernan? Chat saying that Acronik has only recently been going for insane stuff. Or at least Cash says. As Acronik has put in a double flip reset during this match already. And was throwing some similar kind of insane offense against Joriez earlier today. Kiernan is going to go flying underneath. I love it. I love the looks. Evo's the only other player I've seen do this as well, but we saw Rob do it a little bit. The look backs when you absolutely dust somebody. Oh, man. Kiernan, the direct kickoff goal. That's a nice way to earn right back what was a slightly disrespectful look back. Although I get the impression that everybody here is friends based on how everybody was interacting in chat. I actually didn't see the Monaco stuff. I did not. But I heard that Team Liquid did do well. Who was on that team other than Acronik? We need Acronik versus Acronik. Yeah, we definitely need to do that at some point. Both these guys have dusted each other with little pops now. It was Oski and Atal. Yeah, that's what I thought. I knew it was Oski. I forgot that it was also Atal? Atal? I saw Acronik say in the Johnny stream that he is 16 years old. So he is a bit of a youngster. Everybody who was playing in the Johnny Showmatch was either 15 or younger. It wasn't quite next gen. I don't know if I ever talked about wanting to do a next gen 3v3. I mean, I know I have tried to do it, but I had a hard time getting it to happen. Technically, that was not a next gen 3v3 because almost half the lobby was 15. I think Oski's 15 now, right? No, Oski's still 14. But I think Fatira's 15, Daniel's 15. Aqua had turned 15 that exact day. Kiernan is 18, he turned 18. Ooh, Acronik just couldn't stick with his ball because he clips the corner like I don't think he meant to. Thought he was going to catch it and carry it away. Acronik winning this kickoff into Kiernan's half, but without boost. Not going to be able to stick with it long, and now Kiernan, flip reset, so far away from the net. The wave dash shot booms it to the top shelf, though. A very impressive play. Acronik quick to get back. Interesting, going to pick up, 100 boost when he already had about 80, but it actually, he still ended up getting to the net too soon. I think he would have had an easier time saving it if he got in there even a little bit later. So hard to blame him for taking a detour because he ended up having to kind of pull back to try and jump and save that shot. Whereas if he had gotten there later, he actually might have been able to fly directly into it. Acronik trying to chase Kiernan down. He does bump him, but it's going to take him so much longer to pick up boost since he's going to the back corner that Kiernan will probably be able to put pressure on, stop him. That being said, Acronik is going for this full field dribble, ceiling reset. Is he just going to fake it all the way in? And he's earned it. He has earned the right to not actually do anything on this play and still score off of it because he has been so nasty with all the dribbles in the past. You know Kiernan has to try and pre-jump it. And then Acronik can just tap it in for free. A nice quick kick-out play. I think he's going to try and go for a quick dribble while Kiernan doesn't have any boost. And that is a great execution of an advantage. It's not easy to hold on to this advantage, but he knows he has it after Kiernan bumps him to the side wall, which means he's lost the race to the boost and will be retreating slightly late, but really not that late. The only reason why it looks late is because Acronik played it so well and immediately got a strong touch towards net and finished off the dribble. Even then, Kiernan's still, not that far away from making a save. How old is Drally? I think Drally's 14. He was 13. I think he's 14. He actually might still be 13. Kiernan, high chip. Acronik has been very willing to play goal line defense, and he does get the save this time around. But a little bit more than we see from most 1v1ers. Acronik will just camp the back line. If Kiernan doesn't really get the shot he wants, pulls away, goes for another one. Acronik doesn't keep the pressure up and follow him. He says, I'm going to only save your shot. And it was a great save. Vakinus is right. It was a crazy save that time. It's the ball halfway in the net. But, another option is also potentially to never let it get halfway in the first place. But, Acronik is winning this game right now. So hard to blame him. There is a little bit of a fake challenge this time, and that does force Kiernan into the air, and that's really all you need. I think earlier, it's actually not going to work out for Acronik, but earlier he was just fully shadowing, never turning at all, and Kiernan could just slowly roll it in. This time, Acronik did have just a little bit of a fake challenge, which got Kiernan up in the air. And I think ultimately, that was not the best of execution from Kiernan. Just ended up working out in his favor. 6-6. 40 seconds on the clock. Kiernan with another on-card dribble. Acronik with another shot of defense. He has relied on his goal line defense time and again. And he's gotten a clear this time. How much time does he have to pick up any boost? What am I talking about? He's going to go right on the offense. He knows that Kiernan's out of position. And it's going to have to hook back around to this ball at midfield. Acronik doing well to get close to that and make sure Kiernan doesn't dive, because I don't think Acronik actually had that much boost. I think if Kiernan turned and with confidence challenged immediately, he would be able to higher point the ball than Acronik could, given the boost situation. But a confident play from Acronik is going to work out, and he's got himself a 1-goal lead. Kiernan taking it to the sky once again for the goal line bump. He says, if you're going to play goal line defense, I am going to air dribble bump you. And I think this is one of the reasons why we haven't seen as many air dribble bumps recently, is not a lot of people are playing defense the way that Acronik is right now in ones. And I think it's probably because they get tired of getting air dribble bumps. You get air dribble bumped enough times, and you're going to stop waiting on the goal line to try and make saves. But 7-7 overtime. A nice kickoff win for Acronik. Did not get goal side, just stayed, on the direct line of the ball, but won himself a nice possession either way. He'll take it up for a dribble of his own. He's going to try and bump Kiernan. A little bit too much separation on that touch as it exploded the ball off his car and gave an angle for Kiernan to make the save. Acronik finishing it off the back wall. Had his corner boost stolen, so he's going to have to operate on only his pads. Kiernan this time not going to air dribble bump. The single pass to himself for the air roll shot. Oh no, Kiernan needed a better flick. Instead, he teed it up as a perfect pass. Trying to catch, turn, and flick this over the oncoming challenge. If he succeeded, then he is certainly going to win the game, because Acronik would have been flying by, but he did not succeed, and Acronik slams it for the overtime win and the tied series. Game 3 all tied up. I think both games have been super close, right? I want to say they might have both been 1-goal games. Is that crazy? Last one overtime. First one was not overtime, but I do believe it ended close. Isn't it true that Dino Nuggies are a delicacy in NA? I was actually never much of a Nuggets guy, so I'm not the guy to ask. People do talk about Dino Nuggies a lot in NA, I would say, but I never really did chicken nuggets very much. Game 1 was 7-6. Game 2 is 7-8. Thank you. So it is a perfectly tied series right now. Both these guys with 14 goals. Well, I shouldn't say it's perfectly tied because Rob does have 2 more now. A nice carry. This time, a flick to get by the goal line defender. Acronik sticking with what he feels comfortable with, that's for sure. And he feels comfortable setting up a shadow on the near post and just trying to keep it from going 100% into the net. Acronik trying to take this dribble above the pre-jump. It's not going to work, but it does earn him a corner boost. Kiernan can keep up this play as long as he can keep supersonic, but then he's going to be in trouble, and this is what I'm talking about. Acronik will score his first. Kiernan was just kind of stuck, not knowing what to do as he carried his dribble. I'm sure it felt like he wasn't in trouble because he's moving so fast, but when you're operating with nothing, as soon as you have to turn or slow down, you're going to realize just how out of position you are for a defender who has 100. But Kiernan allowed to walk it in once again. That's what I'm talking about. Not even really much of a fake challenge this time. Acronik just swings around, sets up his shadow defense, and gets ready to save on the goal line. It's not going to work. At least not this time. To be fair, it has worked decently enough in the past. He did win game number 2. Yo, Sycamo. Thank you for the $20 donation. We will make it a $40 prize pool for Acronik versus Kiernan. Kiernan up 4-2. Lots of scoring plays being made quickly off kickoff between both these guys. A repeat of the previous kickoff. This ball launched back into Acronik's corner, but he'll be able to pick up a 100 boost. Pull for a high dribble. Usually, this is a really hard play to make, but Acronik has shown he has the offense to do it. When you have to fall with the dribble all the way to the net, it's hard to make an outplay, but apparently letting it drop to the ground and 50 it in is not a bad way to do so. And Acronik putting himself back within 1. Yo! Vital Logic, thank you for gifting a sub, man. Over to Armageddon. Appreciate it. Tier 1 gifty. Fake kickoff for Kiernan. Acronik putting on some early pressure. Turning into his shadow where he feels comfortable. This time, though, Kiernan trying to flick above him. And he is able to break up the play. He will die for his efforts, though. Luckily, Kiernan on the other side of the map. Kiernan is going to maybe camp out. Maybe had to rub his nose or something. It seemed like he dropped the controller for a second. But he's going to go air dribble bump. Not executed very well. Good defense from Acronik to keep it out. You never had dino nuggets as a child? What'd you? Yeah, I don't know. I obviously must have had chicken nuggets sometimes. Oh my goodness. But not very often. Acronik. Just a perfect grab of the reset. Right when Kiernan needs to be making his decision on how to make a save. I would say I had like bagel bites and like the pizza bagel. I feel like that's almost like the equivalent that I did have pretty frequently. Kiernan, flick high and miss. Gonna initiate the counterattack for Acronik, but he could never really get control of the ball, and then not a great 50 for him as he's above the ball, and he'll get demoed on his attempt to save. Kiernan gonna go up 2 with 2 minutes left to go. The way these guys are scoring, it's more than enough time on the clock. Many more goals left to be scored if the pace continues. I think Acronik was trying to connect with the ball there, maybe either get an initial shot or at least put some pressure on Kiernan, but completely missing. And now we see an early challenge. The first time Acronik does early challenge. Kiernan does read it with a pop, but Acronik makes it back in time. Kiernan, flick. Misses high off the crossbar. Crossbar. And then Acronik just kind of handing the ball. He had possession here. And I think maybe trying to pop it over Kiernan while keeping the ball ahead of him, but instead flew out from underneath it. Left it open for a tap-in. Acronik trying to get that long shot. Kiernan doing well to jump up and clear it away. Acronik, nice fake. Great use of the fake in this situation. A really close shot. Forcing the angle through a Kiernan challenge was going to be really hard. So he jumps up and lets Kiernan go flying by. Still a 2-goal deficit with a minute left to go. Acronik trying to get an early power shot off the kickoff. Kiernan gets the save. Acronik, a great catch and kill of the ball. A demo. This should be a 6th, but he does need to finish it off. Try to go air dribble bump of his own. To be fair, he did have a longer way to go than I realized, but could not get Kiernan on the bump. Instead, he'll get him on the flip reset. These are so clean. If he can somehow find himself in this spot as much as possible, he has just looked so consistent with these. Kiernan, you see him sitting on the back wall, doing his best not to come off the wall. He wants to be able to react to whatever happens for as long as possible, but Acronik does such a good job of extending the dribble and using it late that at some point Kiernan has to drive off to make a save, and then by the time he's done that, he's too deep committed. Acronik taps it above. 22 seconds left to go, though, and Acronik needs another. Kiernan aggressive on this final goal with 0 boost. The shot is in. If Acronik had made the save, he might have been able to take it the other way because he had the extreme boost advantage, but Kiernan just off the volley. 119 km/h shot will get past the Acronik defense. And with 15 seconds left to go, this should be a Kiernan win, unless Acronik gets a couple of nice kickoffs. Kiernan trying to get a flip reset of his own. He handed it over, but Acronik connecting slightly with the post probably prevents him from getting the quick goal. So 8-6, the first game not won by just a single goal, and it will go to Kiernan as we head to game 4. Because you never know, they might play differently if they know it's $40. Although I get the feeling that they might be in comms with other people in chat, and they may already know. Kiernan, his air dribble bump saved on the goal line. Acronik, his playstyle definitely lends to some spectacular saves on occasion. Ooh, nice power shot, just barely not in. Acronik playing with 0 boost. A high lob. Never great for a low boost defender. Kiernan is just doing his best to try and trick Acronik, but Acronik plays it so perfectly. That was just great play by both of them. I mean, Kiernan did as good as you could hope for in terms of trying to get Acronik off the wall early, but somehow Acronik knew exactly when the real shot was coming and where it was going to. And then he bumps Kiernan the other way, and he'll get the first goal once again. Acronik has gotten first blood. I feel like, has it been in every game? It might have been one game that Kiernan didn't get first blood. But Acronik up 1-0 in game 4. And make it up 2-0. Direct kickoff goal for him. Or not quite direct, but a 50 immediately off of the kickoff. Kiernan trying to cut immediately to net, but his flick, very soft, not a lot of elevation from it. Not going to really trick a defender. Here, do you have any insiders in the DevZ matchup? This is crazy. Chat, somebody check how long that account has existed for. Acronik. Shot to the bottom corner. He has Kiernan on the back foot. What a play from Acronik. That one's been there for 3 years. All right. Kiernan just came in so deep in an attempt to either bump Acronik or pick up that midfield boost, and when he didn't get it, what Acronik needed to do was to make a quick play to net, and that's exactly what he did. Played it about as fast as he possibly could. Didn't even give a whiff of a chance for Kiernan. So 3-0. We saw Acronik start the series 3-0 as well. And then I think Kiernan ended up taking that game 1. So we'll see if Acronik can hold on to his lead this time around. When he's on offense, he is looking really, really good. But he has had trouble if he loses out in the midfield enough for Kiernan to be able to control, get into his on-card dribble, and get Acronik into playing a little bit too much goal line defense. And I think a lot of that comes down to the kickoffs, which have also been, for the majority of the series, I think, in favor of Kiernan. Although at the start of this game, Acronik's done a really good job of getting most of them. Kiernan chipping it into an on-card dribble. Acronik in the classic shadow, but he cannot stop the flip reset. Kiernan not going for the air dribble bump like we've seen him do from this situation in so many times. Instead, he gives it just a little bit of extra height, which puts Acronik out of position, bringing himself within 1. Kiernan trying to catch Acronik off guard with that early turn. And Acronik, I think, getting a little bit too greedy. He saw that one was offline, and so he thought he had time to go pick up the 100 boost and get back to it. But if you're going to completely leave the play, Kiernan will take his goal. Oh, your Flixie is Canadian. All right, duly noted. If we ever have a Flixie thumbnail again, that he is a Canadian player. A 3-0 run at the start for Acronik, but it comes back with a 4-0 run for Kiernan with 2 minutes left to go. Acronik just feels backflipping. He was going to have a tough time saving that no matter what, which is why he tried to play it as fast as possible. Yo, Connor Lux, thank you for the 6 million viewer raid, my man. Appreciate that. Oof, Acronik didn't even need to do much for this one. Was really just trying to get his dribble started when you watch it from his perspective. And then Kiernan just flips himself out of the play. He's going to throw himself a what a save. But he's really good at those wave dashes, those wall wave dashes. He's only ever doing them after a goal. But he seems to be really solid with them. I wouldn't be surprised if he uses those at other times. Acronik has had some nasty, nasty saves. This is a great pre-jump. Maybe not quite as impressive as all his previous ones, but he does stay perfectly in front of the ball, playing it off the sidewall with 0 boost. Nice challenge, and that is a change. This is the moment for Acronik, if you ask me. Every other time we have seen Kiernan with the ball on top of his car, Acronik fakes challenges, or maybe doesn't even really fake challenges, just turns and sets up his shadow and then tries to play a shadow defense. Almost never is he coming in to dunk, and he just cashed in on it right there. Kiernan not ready for it, was just looking to set up one of his dribbles that he thought he was going to be allowed to set up for free, since that's how it's been all series long. But Acronik dunking it away. This time, another shadow defense from Acronik and another air dribble from Kiernan. He's going to go for the low 50, pulling off the ball to score this one. Kiernan trying to force a kickoff goal, and now going to have to play some tough defense. Not a great bounce for Acronik, though. It shouldn't be too bad. Not the best of first touches. Acronik has looked good when the ball gets high in the air. I'm sure that's what he wanted from that. 5-5. 30 seconds left to go. A full field possession for Acronik. He's going to immediately chip it to the air. And he actually didn't get the best of first touches from it. You could see from his perspective that wasn't going anywhere near the net. It was going to take, some magic and some flip resets or something to bring it back to the net. But Kiernan had already pre-jumped it. So Acronik can just take it to the ground and scoop it past him. 6-5 in favor of Acronik. An important kickoff. And it seems like it's going in favor of Acronik. Kiernan tried his best to force it back into his control, but it didn't work out. Acronik wants to clip to finish the game. He wants to win in style, not just take it by one. He needs to get his 2-goal win so that it could be a perfectly tied series in both games and goals going to Game 5. That is what I scripted today, and I do like to see the players sticking to the script. Not always do they do that. Sometimes they like to go off script, like Kiernan trying to score here, but of course Acronik fixes that for us. So we do have our perfectly tied in games and goals series going to Game 5. Kiernan versus Acronik, back and forth. These guys have traded wins. I believe Kiernan won first, and then they've traded ever since. So who is, in the better position? Kiernan, who wins every other game and therefore should win the Game 5, or Acronik, who's coming off of a win and therefore should have momentum. Kiernan, his air dribble bump, escaped by Acronik as he flies out underneath it. That's a great flick.
Hi.
Hello. Thank you for the $1 donation. We'll add it to the prize pool. $41 donation. Acronik does like to take the ball back into the corner when he has a free possession. He's going to go ceiling reset this time. The musty. Oh, my goodness, Acronik. All right, Kiernan just sitting here watching in net, waiting to see what Acronik is going to do with the ceiling reset that he had. And it's going to be a 102-kilometer-per-hour flick that he just cannot get in front of. Another early lead for Acronik. I know for sure that Acronik has gotten first blood in at least 4 of the 5 games. Might not have been all 5. That being said, Kiernan should be able to tie it up immediately after this. I see somebody requested a copyright-free song, and it's by Juice WRLD. I can tell you right now that Juice WRLD did not make a copyright-free song for us to have on our playlist. Nice bounce strip. This is so hard to save. We were talking about this when we were watching some Scrubkilla replays yesterday. This cross-field bounce dribble into power shot, it's just so hard to place yourself in a spot that can cover all the options. And Kiernan doing a great job of slamming the power shot just inside that far post for him and behind Acronik. Kiernan high on the wall, and that's not where you want to be in 1v1. A guy like Acronik who has gone for so many high dribbles, you can understand why Kiernan was up high on the wall. Acronik has, every time in that situation, gone to set up a long air dribble. But great recognition from Acronik. Saw Kiernan was going to be there, so cuts it down. And then that's the worst place you want to be. Kiernan going to have a hard time recovering from that. Kiernan, air dribble bump. Make it 3-2. I think Acronik probably getting a little bit tired of those air dribble bump goals. And I unfortunately sat there and watched majority of the replay for really no reason. Ooh, Acronik. Not the best of positioning on the back wall. This is going to be a tough situation either way, as he tries to clear it to get it out of dangerous way, but he just ends up passing it. And you can see he turned high, trying to cover anything top shelf as opposed to just straight out. And Kiernan ends up shooting it fairly low. This is not the best of kickoffs for him again, but he handles it well, and he actually is going to win the race to the midfield boost. Ooh, I think that was a demo attempt on Kiernan. If he had connected with Kiernan, it would have been an easy bucket. But just barely missing out. Kiernan will take the high lob as an opportunity to execute a dribble, and it's another air dribble bump. I'm not even sure it really meant to be. He just tried to dribble it and carry it away from the defender at the last moment. You can see him slowing it down, bringing it towards that near post. It just worked out that he ended up bumping into Acronik to fully secure it. 5-2 with half the game left to go. Acronik in a really good spot here, though. He's going to go air dribble bump himself. He says, have a taste of your own medicine, bud. You're going to keep doing this to me, I'll do it to you. Kiernan, you could see the cogs turning in his head. How is he going to use this bounce so close to the wall? Acronik out to midfield. This should, in theory, get Kiernan off the ball. And I think that's what Acronik thought as well. But Kiernan knows better, sees his opportunity to turn, and slams a power shot to punish Acronik for getting on the wrong side of the ball. A trip that Acronik thought he was going to be able to get away with, as he was in desperate need for boost. But a little bit too far away from the play. 6-3. A solid lead for Kiernan. Acronik, is he going to try and pay back some more air dribble bumping? He connects with Kiernan. He should be able to finish it off. Wow. He must have been like a moment away from going supersonic, because he doesn't get the demo here. But he does bump Kiernan. Kiernan actually helps keep that ball online after getting that slight touch. A minute 40. Acronik once again going to prioritize that back corner boost, but also just getting into the right side of the ball over trying to get an early touch, maybe keep possession. That 50's not great though. Kiernan's going to score on an open net. 3 goals. Not impossible, but certainly not easy. Will we see a little bit of a kickoff mix-up from Acronik? No, this is just a standard diagonal kickoff. Acronik tap high in front of the net without any boost. Almost no way he's going to be able to finish that off anyways. Just trying to buy himself some time. And Kiernan, who has the 3-goal lead and a minute left to go, not going to bring the ball to Acronik. And like we see, oh wow, what a recovery. I was going to say, he seemed like he had just handed over an opportunity that he otherwise didn't need to, but credit to Kiernan. I called it way too soon. He had a great recovery, makes the save, and actually gets another goal. A 4-goal lead with 46 seconds left to go. It will have to be some special kickoff situations from Acronik, I think. But I wonder how he feels in diagonal kickoffs doing anything different. It's not really going to matter much because Kiernan just completely fakes it, and that works for him. Acronik, the whole field to dribble. That's just where he feels most comfortable, it feels like. But his flip reset does not change the trajectory nearly enough to get it past Kiernan. So 20 seconds left to go. I think this will be Kiernan's win and his $40. But nice play from both of them. I'm thinking that's a little bit of an own goal from Acronik. He knows it's over. But GG's. Another good performance, I would say, from Acronik. A tough opponent and a very, very close series. It's kind of crazy that this series ended up with, you know, a 4 or you could say 5 goal, and now it's going to be 6, but, you know, the past couple don't really feel like they mattered much. But like we said, going into Game 5, the series was exactly tied in goals scored. So that's a great clip, by the way. There's no defenders. Oh, it's $41. You're right. You're right. You donated one. I forgot. It's $41. GG's. They left the party and the match, so I can't tell him thanks for playing, but I'll make sure to get Kiernan's PayPal, hit him up with his $41 prize.